Hello and welcome to On the Bench LFC. In this live stream, we're going to be talking about Liverpool versus Brighton. It is at Anfield and kickoff is at 5:30. So the game is tomorrow from when we are recording this, and yet again, we will be putting this out on a podcast platform as well, which is Castbox. Last time I didn't know the name of it, but this time we do. Let me just take away the line up there so people can see your chats. Yes, it's going out on Castbox as well for those of you that do like to listen to it back on the podcast platform as well. So firstly, thank you to everyone that is joining us live. I am joined by Connor yet again tonight, so thank you so much for joining me on this show, Connor. And for those of you that are watching it back on the replay, don't forget, leave your comments down below. Let us know your views on it. You guys will obviously be able to see my score prediction up on the screen. You'll hear Connor's throughout this show. I want to get everyone that's in the live chat as well score prediction. Those of you that are watching it back, leave a comment down below. What's your score predictions? We'll go over the tactics for this one, lineups. You know the score by now. If you're new to the channel and you're a Liverpool supporter, you enjoy keeping up to date with daily Liverpool content, you're in the right place. Hit subscribe. Connor, welcome to the stream again tonight. Have you had a good day, my friend? How are you?
First of all, hi everyone. Hope everyone's had a brilliant day. And yeah, I'm pretty good, thanks, Daz. It's been a quite busy day concerning Liverpool, but happy to be live on the stream right now.
Glad to hear it, mate. Yeah, it's busy days all round. How is everyone in the live chat today? You all good? Busy days for you lot as well, I'm pretty sure. Obviously, it's match day tomorrow. So most people, obviously, they want to make sure when it's match day coming up that they've got all their stuff out of the way. Obviously, match days on the weekend normally, so when you're working, some people still work on the weekends as well, so you're rushing around late on in the week. You know, you want to keep everything, get everything done, get it all out the way. I know I'm like that anyway, and obviously with my family as well, I'm like, right, you know, if I've got to make, you know, if we've got shopping to do or something, I want to get it done, I want to get it out the way so that I'm ready to sit down and watch the game, you know, in peace. Not that I do get much peace and quiet in this house. Plus, obviously, we will be doing a watch-along as well on the channel. So for those of you that are going to be joining me on the watch-along, let me know in the comment section whether you're going to be joining us as well. Can't wait for this. I'm seeing score predictions already, Connor. Are you seeing it on the live chat? You know, we've got 2-0. Paul Pugh is sticking to his 7-0, which is incredible. Obviously, I've gone for a 4-0 score prediction myself. Connor, firstly, what is your score prediction for this game?
My prediction is a solid 3-0. I think that's a comfortable way to look at it at the minute, because it looks like we're going to have a tough test breaking down the Brighton defence, but I think with our attack, our midfield, we are just at the minute in the perfect mind to just go and attack Brighton right where we left it from Crystal Palace.
Yeah, go at them straight from the off. Try and get a couple of early goals in this one. I said it in a previous stream. Try and rattle them early, you know, make them nervous. And if we can get a couple of early goals in this, then this game could have quite a few goals in it. So Paul's saying is 7-0. You know, that's a lot of goals for Liverpool, but I could see there being quite a lot of goals. Connor with a 3-0, myself with a 4-0. I'm seeing Wayne saying 4-0 as well. He's saying, well, he would take a 4-0. He's also saying all right to you, Connor. Paul Turner's saying evening from Spain. Good evening to you as well. Sam is saying a 4-0 as well. WJ has got a 3-0. Shallow's going with a 3-0 as well. Tonic's got a 4-0 for anyone that's listening to this. Issa's going 4-0. Sam's got a 4-0. Emma Hobbs, welcome to the live stream. She's saying 5-0. You know, and Gary's got a 5-0 as well. So I'm seeing a lot of clean sheets yet again. Junior, welcome to the live chat, my friend. A lot of clean sheets all round. So is this another game that we are all expecting another clean sheet from Alisson? Colin, what's your views in this? Obviously, 2 games down for Liverpool. It's a 38-game season. 2 games down. How many clean sheets do we expect to see from Alisson this season? Do you think, obviously, as the season goes on, we expect to see him get better, of course. We haven't really seen him tested too much yet. We spoke about this already. His distribution's been there, but is he going to get better? In this game, are we going to see more of a confidence performance from him? Is it going to be another clean sheet, Connor? Come on.
In my opinion, it's got to only be a clean sheet, because if Alisson does have a wobbly moment, which I don't think he is going to have, I think obviously we got Verge and we got Gomez, but I think he can only get better, but I think in this game we're just going to see him like we did in the West Ham game, not being threatened from corners that many times, sorry. But I think that you'll see another masterclass of his distribution, but I think it'll be a lot better than Crystal Palace. I think you'll see him lobbing balls over to Bobby, Salah, Mane, the load of them. I'm predicting an assist from Alisson this game.
An assist from Alisson, so one long ball over the top, either to Mane, Salah, one of them, they get on it and a goal. I would love to see that in this one. That'd be fantastic. Nathan is in the live chat and he says, "Bonjour, je m'appelle Nathan," which I absolutely love here. Mystic says hello as well. Guys in the live chat that's joining on here. So anyone that's watching this back on the replay, let me know your views. Do you agree with Connor on this, that we will see Alisson get assists at least this season? But do you think that it would come as early as what the Brighton game is? That'd be fantastic to see him get an assist in this game for sure. Abraham says, "Hey Daz, 6-0. Eric's going with a 3-1 as well." So interestingly, Eric's going for a goal for Brighton. Now, speaking of a goal for Brighton here, thank you so much for your score predictions, everyone that's obviously given it. But a goal for Brighton, Glenn Murray, Connor. He's going to be their man, from what I can tell. They're going to be looking for balls up top to Murray. He's their man that's going to be trying to have knock-ons. He's good in the air. Should we be worried about Murray? We just played Palace. We had Benteke. We dealt with him. We pocketed him, basically, didn't we? As Benteke really come out, Gomez has 2 pockets. Virgil has 2 pockets. Surely Benteke only takes up 1 pocket. So we've got room for a Murray, haven't we? What's your views on it? Should we be worried about Murray, or will we deal with him as well?
I think he's a threat, but I think Benteke was a bigger threat. So if the likes of Gomez can handle the likes of Christian Benteke, I think he can easily handle Glenn Murray. But we shouldn't take him, we shouldn't take him seriously, but I think that if we can handle the attack from Crystal Palace, which in my opinion, I think I think the team is more of a threat than Brighton. But he did score against Manchester United, which, to be fair, we all know what Man United are like. But I think that with Verge, Alisson and Gomez, I think it's an easy clean sheet, in my opinion.
Yeah, so sticking with a clean sheet then for yourself. So Murray is going to be pocketed again as far as what Connor's concerned. So those of you that are in the live chat, obviously if you're watching it back, leave a comment. Should we be worried about Murray? Is he really going to cause us any more of a problem than what Benteke did? I mean, against Palace, we did see some dangerous moments, you could say. It is still early season. Gomez has done fantastically so far, and it's not just going to come down to what Gomez and Virgil do as a centre-back pairing. You've got to look at your right back, you've got to look at your left back, you've got to look at the whole team as a defensive unit. We do defend as a unit, don't we? We've heard this so many times. So it's not just going to come down to how Gomez does in this game, but and it's not just going to come down to Glenn Murray for them either. It's going to come down to the whole of their team. And we may see one of their other players pop up and have a decent game. But, yeah, I'm not that worried. We're at Anfield. It's no disrespect to Brighton here. I don't mean to be disrespectful, but as Liverpool Football Club right now, there's a lot of talk about Liverpool being the ones challenging City for the Premier League. We should be looking at this game, especially being at Anfield, and saying, we need to win this. Okay, we should be winning this. Connor, is it too early in the season to be saying we should be winning these games, but is it too early to be saying we should be concentrating on the goal difference? So keep a clean sheet like we're all saying and try and get as many goals as what we can as well. And I don't want to get ahead of myself here because obviously, yes, they did good against Manchester United and, we shouldn't take them lightly. But if we go 2 goals up against them, they probably aren't going to be trying to attack Liverpool back too much because they will want to save faith. Let's face it, their manager's job is to try and keep them up in the league. He's not going to want to see them smashed. They probably sit and defend a little bit more. They're not going to fully open up against Liverpool. But if we're fully in control of the game, Do you say to Liverpool, manage a game a little bit more like we are this season, but still put the pressure on, still try and get at them, still try and get goals? Is it too early in the season to be looking at the goal difference? What's your views on that, Connor?
I think it is for the time being. I think it's way too early to even like acknowledge the goal difference. As long as we're getting the goals in the net and we're winning and we're defending the lead, I think that is just all by itself what we should be doing. I think if people are already expecting us to tank teams like 5-0, 6-0, I think the first thing we should be looking for is keeping a clean sheet. I think what Liverpool has done over the years, we've kind of over-attacked as such. It's like when we get 2, maybe 3 goals, we've looked for that 4th or 5th goal. I think we should just sit back and just lock down the game and just keep a clean sheet, because this season, I think that will be the biggest part of us not winning the title and winning the title if we are going to. I'm not saying we are, but if we do concede goals leading up, we've seen previous years where we've, in 13-14, for example, where we conceded over 50 goals, and that's what was a big point of our lackness of that season. So I think maybe this season, I think it'll be mostly defence will be so much thought about through the latter part of the second half, maybe first. But yeah, I think that going into this game, I don't think we should be worried about goal difference, because if we can attack properly, we should easily score 2 or 3 goals just by waiting for those little gaps. But I also think that if we do come under a little bit of pressure from Brighton, we obviously have the whole defence to so much take away the pressure from everyone in that team.
Yeah, so concentrate on defence and defending first, and then, you know, the goals will come. We know how good Liverpool are anyway when it comes to attack. But this season, if we concentrate on the defending side of our game, you're saying that is what Liverpool have lacked the previous seasons. This is how we can now challenge for the title this year, is, you know, just stay solid at the back. If we do our job in this game defensively, then we should score a couple of goals at least in this game. Is basically what you're saying there, Connor.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think that, like, moving forward, I think, because it's like what we did in the Crystal Palace game. We just held back through the 1-0. I think everyone was happy with that, with it being just a back 4 and a midfield 4, and then we just counter-attacked and scored and then won the game. So I think going from that forward, I think that's the right mindset to take.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the one thing that I have in my head is with Palace, I feel like Palace, they wanted to come at us in the second half because they wanted to get the points. I feel like if we was a go up against Brighton, I don't know whether they do try and come at us. I'm not too sure. Maybe the Manchester United result might have made them feel like they could possibly try and get a point against us if they're 1 down, but I don't know. I'm not too sure whether their manager looks at it and goes, I would rather take a 1-0 defeat rather than really trying to go at Liverpool and trying to get that goal back and end up losing 2 or 3-0. Do you know what I mean? I don't know what their mindset will be going into this one. I want to say hello to DZB, Cornwall, you know, those of you guys that have just joined, Tommy Tonic. Welcome to the live stream, everyone. Tony K as well. Thank you for joining us live. Mitchell's in the building as well. Thank you so much for joining us live tonight. Please leave a thumbs up on the live stream as well if you're enjoying the content. So, going into this one as well, we know that Lovren should be out. Obviously, Klopp spoke about this one. I did an update video on the channel earlier, and the short update videos are back, where it's, you know, less than 10 minutes long. I'm updating you guys on what's been going on throughout the day with Liverpool. Blue Tick's in the building as well. He's got a 5-0 prediction. Thank you so much, my friend. And one of the updates today is that Lovren obviously being back for the Spurs game. How long do you reckon, speaking about Lovren, how long do you reckon he's going to be back anywhere near the Spurs game? And we're talking about Lovren there, but, you know, do you reckon Nat Phillips gets any game time before Lovren even gets back into the first team? Just quickly before we end up moving on here. Do you think Phillips plays before Lovren does, before we see him end up coming back in?
I think he's more match fit than Lovren, to be honest with you, because obviously he's playing for the under-23s, which I think they played tonight. But first team wise, I don't think he does. But then saying that, if he is called upon, I think Matt Phillips can actually do a job. But for me, Lovren, I think he's a bench player for Spurs because I think he has to fight for that position back from Gomez if he has another solid performance against Brighton. But it's all about match fitness. It's like we all want Lovren to be up there with Van Dijk. We want him to be that centre-back that we've always wanted. Gomez is doing it at the minute, and he's doing a fantastic job, but we want more than 2 defenders to be perfect. We want 3 or 4. And I think Matt Phillips is getting there. And I think if Lovren can keep that consistency up that he did at the latter part of last season, I think Lovren can be a good defender for us this season. But for Spurs, I don't see him starting.
Yeah. No, thank you so much for answering that question there. So I just see someone else joining here, Daniel and Tommy saying tried to super chat your channel, but I can't. Why? I'm not too sure why that is, Tommy, but don't worry about it too much. Obviously, if you can't, I appreciate people that donate or super chat, but it's, I don't expect it. So if you can't, then keep the money. It's fate that you get to spend it on yourself or your family. Thank you for the thought though, my friend. So anyway, carrying on with this, let's talk about the starting 11 now, because obviously there's a few players there that may be changed going into this one. Let me just get my starting lineup up on the screen now. For obviously those of you that are listening to this back on the podcast, you can't see what the starting 11 is that I'm going with, so I'll read it out now. The back 5 obviously seems to be picking itself at the moment. So you've got Alisson in goal. I've gone with Trent at right back, Gomez, Virgil van Dijk and Robbo. That is my back 5. And then midfield, this is the tricky part right now. And I think the midfield 3 is going to be tricky throughout the whole season. Even me and you, Connor, before the live stream, we was talking about this. But actually, we've gone with the same midfield 3, I think. So I've gone with John Henson as the holding midfielder, Genie and Naby Keita. And in the front 3, I'm actually sticking with Salah, Bobby and Mane as the front 3. Bit of a discussion, though, on the starting 11, guys, because James Milner looked a little bit leggy towards the end of the game against Palace. I didn't notice it during the game too much, but obviously people was highlighting it. And then when I've looked back, I did notice what people was talking about. So very, very interesting to see. James Milner's an absolute beast. He's a tank. If Klopp does end up rotating for this game, then Milner might be one of the ones that does drop out. Henderson probably does come in this sense. He's the captain. He's been coming on as a sub, hasn't he? So yeah, I think Henderson definitely comes into this one. He's going to keep Keita in that team. Keita looks fantastic so far. And I think Genie's played absolutely outstanding. But if Henderson comes in, Genie plays more of an advanced midfielder of the 3. And Henderson sits as that deep laying playmaker, I think. Because, Henderson can ping the balls about from that position nicely. Genie gets more of a free roam, gets to help the attackers make last minute runs into the box. Hopefully tries to get a goal in this game. There's a lot of talk about him adding more goals to his game, so I would like to see that against Brighton if he could do that. The front 3, there's a lot of talk about Bobby maybe needing a bit of rest, but I'm sticking with Bobby starting this one personally. And maybe, if we're 2 goals up, Connor, you were saying it beforehand, and I will ask you your starting 11. Obviously, same as mine, but your views on it. Bobby starting for me. If we're 2 goals up, then bringing Bobby off around half-time or 60 minutes. And I've said about bringing Shaqiri on for Bobby and maybe pushing Salah up front and Shaqiri out on the right maybe then. Connor, I know you're very similar to me, but if you want to explain your views on it as well, then please do so. Your starting 11's the same as me, but if you've got anything to add to that, or if you want to say what you want to, then let me know. I think we've just got something here. Tommy Walker's donated £5 on a super chat. Thank you so much to you, Tommy. I really appreciate that. I hope you've had a fantastic day. Massive shout out to you, Tommy. Thank you so much to you. And also as well, Emma Hobbs has donated £1. Thank you so much to you as well, Emma. Same goes to you. Hope you've had a fantastic day. both of you guys, thank you so much for, one, joining us on a live stream tonight, and two, you know, just for the donations. Like I say, I never expect them, but we really appreciate it. So thank you so much to both of you guys. Yeah, Connor, what is your views on a starting 11? Is there anything that you would like to add, my friend?
So, I have the exact same lineup as you, because I think it mostly speaks for himself, because I think that it's only really two positions that we're really questioning, with if Bobby's going to be out, what's the midfield three going to be like. But yeah, I've got the exact same. I have the exact same as you, but I have Shaqiri coming on for Firmino. I think if we're 2-0 up by 60 minutes, I think Shaqiri plays in that false nine for about half an hour, and then maybe, because last season we tried to do a 4-2-3-1, and it obviously worked last season. I think if Bobby comes off, I think you might end up seeing that at the latter part of the game. But to start with, I think we'll obviously go with a 4-3-3. And for me, I think Milner comes on for Kety if we maybe want to lock down the game and just pass it about and just pass it so much so that we can just not so much kill Brighton out the game, but just end it and just make sure that we don't lose the ball and like they have a quick counter attack. But yeah, that's all my points of views for the game. I think it's the lineup then is just pretty simple. Maybe you might see an Adam Lallana for Genie, but I wouldn't count on that, because I think Genie at the minute has played superbly since coming into that team.
Yeah, I think Genie's been superb, hasn't he? From the first two games this season. I mean, the one thing was that Genie and Bobby both obviously was training separately from the main group on Tuesday. So that was a talking point I think we had on the last stream that we was talking about on the last stream that we did together. But yeah, so I don't know whether it might be Genie that does miss this game, but I'm not too sure. I mean, Klopp in his press conference, when he was asked whether he does make any changes, he said it's silly to think just because we're winning games that we stick with the same formation. I like an old saying that if it's not broke, you don't fix it. But at the same time, I totally get what Klopp's saying. You know, if we need to rotate because some players are a little bit leggy, it is the beginning of the season. We did have a World Cup. We've got the international break coming up as well. So you don't want players to get injured. If you've got options there that you can bring on, it's at Anfield. If Klopp thinks that Henson comes on and does a job in this one, if he thinks that Milner needs to come off, then yeah, I totally back whatever Klopp does for this. And I think that we've got players that can come in and do a job. Now, Shaqiri in this one, is this the sort of game that we could definitely see with Shaqiri having at least 30 minutes? You know, if we need a goal in this, if we haven't got those early goals like we've been speaking about, if we can't get at them early on and get 2 quick goals like Liverpool can often do in these games, they're sitting defensively. Shaqiri comes on. You know, he's a playmaker. He can do well in these sort of games for us, surely, in the future. Do you reckon that if we do need a player like him, he should at least have a good half an hour if he doesn't start this game? What's your views on that, Connor? I mean, you say about bringing him on for maybe Bobby, but if at half-time we need to break this team down, bring Shaqiri on, or maybe even start him in this game. What's your views on that?
I think this is the perfect game for him to actually come into the Liverpool team, because we're obviously going to be looking for 1 or 2 players to create from Brighton, playing basically a 4 and a 5 just to try and hold out our attack. But I think at Stoke last season, this would have been, even though they did get relegated, I think this would have been a game for Shaqiri, because he can create, he can come a bit deep, sort of Coutinho style, where he can just have the ball and he can just pass 1-2 and then create something. But yeah, I think Shaqiri, if we are going to see anyone in the team, I think it'll be Firmino maybe out and Shaqiri in, but I think that is the only person that will change if we are going to change our lineups.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just reading a chat here. Liam Roberts is saying, it's getting on my pip that we aren't playing Fabinho. This is also, we're talking about this sort of game that would be good for Shaqiri coming in. This could also, we were talking about it before the Palace game, that could have been a perfect sort of game for Fabinho to come in. Could we see Fabinho get some game time in this one? Surely, as each week goes on, we're looking to see whether Fabinho gets some game time in the Premier League. I respect that Klopp is giving him time to bed in, and I will wait as long as I have to, because he's a quality player, I have no doubt in that. And when he does start to play, I will just be excited to see it when it happens. But, it is one of those that he signed for Liverpool. I can't wait to see him play. So, again, Fabinho, could we see him get at least 10 minutes in this towards the end? If we're 2 goals up, why not let him have a run out? Does he at least make the bench in this one?
I think he does make the bench, and I think that is the only way you're going to see Fabinho right now, in my opinion. I think that what Klopp is trying to do, he's trying to better him. And guys, what you got to think about is we have a ton of games to play. Just think about the Christmas period. You'll be wanting Fabinho and Henderson playing that 6th role, because around Christmas time we play Arsenal and Man City within a day. So I think that we'll at least see him, I'd say, maybe in this game for about 15 to 10 minutes, because maybe we might take Henderson off, and then if we're obviously comfortably in the lead, I think he does get a run out, in my opinion. But I think that is the only way you're going to get to see Fabinho at the minute.
Yeah. Obviously, I'm seeing here, look, we need Fabinho, says Isa. Blue Tick is saying, I think we will see Fabinho. So that's brilliant. Paul is saying you don't pay 44 million for a player to play in a cup. Emma's saying, bye, Daz. Goodbye, Emma. Thank you for your donation. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your evening. And thank you for joining us tonight. Shallow says, Fabinho only for big games, in my opinion. Thank you for your opinion, my friend. Robbie says, LFC 6, Brighton 1. So we still got more predictions coming in. Thank you so much, Robbie. Blue Tick's also saying about Salah scoring in this one. Junior is saying, who is Emre Can? So, yeah, exactly. Angus has got a 5-0 prediction there. Come on, you Reds, he also says. Brilliant, Angus. Absolutely love that. We're talking about, obviously, Fabinho. We're talking about Shaqiri maybe coming on here. We're talking about players being rested in this one. Now, a key player that we spoke about leading into this season, and he's staying at Liverpool for this year. That's Daniel Sturridge. Now, Bobby needs resting in some people's minds, yeah. Say, for instance, he does need resting in this game, and we're talking about maybe bringing Shaqiri on for him and pushing Salah up top. Now, you've got a quality striker there that we all said he had a fantastic pre-season. Now, if, for instance, Daniel Sturridge is sitting on the bench and we know that he can get us goals, do you think Jurgen Klopp has trust or has faith in the fact that he could maybe start Daniel Sturridge in a game against Brighton? Or do you think that Daniel Sturridge is only going to be a second half player this season? Does Klopp never start Daniel Sturridge in a game, thinking that if you start him, that's where you may start to get these problems and issues with the injuries? Is Sturridge only going to be used as a sub, or maybe we might see him in some cup games maybe, but I don't know, because you are looking at Bobby and people say he does need a rest. You've got Daniel Sturridge there, who is a goal scorer. If you're going to be taking off a striker and putting a striker on, Sturridge is your man, but is it it's difficult to say, because I would say put Sturridge on, but at the same time, I don't want him to get injured, especially not the 3rd game of the pre-season, so... Yeah. Do you think Klopp trusts him enough to be able to put him on, or do you think Klopp is the same as all of us Liverpool fans and he's like, I don't know whether I would put him on at the beginning, maybe start Shaqiri and then bring Sturridge on for the last 20 minutes or something? What do you reckon on that, Connor?
I think he's more of coming off the bench player, in my opinion, because I don't think we can trust him to play the full 90 anymore, because he does get injured a lot. Obviously, he did have a brilliant pre-season, but with that, it's not competitive football. And I think, as we've seen over the last couple of years, Danny Sturridge he's probably one of, if not the best finishers at the club, but we can't rely on him anymore. But I do think we'll see him mostly in cup games this season, but for league games, I think you could even put Shaqiri in that bracket of strikers at the minute, because if you had to put Shaqiri in there, I think Shaqiri is over Sturridge. But if he's not in that bracket of strikers, I think Sturridge is obviously the number 2. But yeah, in my opinion, I think he's only coming on for about 20 minutes or a half.
Okay, yeah, brilliant. That's kind of like the way I'm looking at it, is that I don't know whether, I would trust that if he was to start. But interestingly, I'm seeing Kloppite in a chat who is saying this is a perfect game to give Sturridge a start. Bring Bobby on in the second half and start him a game for Leicester and Tottenham. Thank you so much, Kloppite. I see Robbie saying about the phone in tomorrow, but he can't. No worries whatsoever, Robbie. It's not a problem whatsoever, my friend. Blue Tick says, Fabinho is a cup player. That is ridiculous. The amount LFC paid for him is no joke. He has the right to be on the lineup, but he has to challenge for the spot. Even he said that he knew that. So obviously someone in the live chat, for anyone that's listening to this back, must have said that Fabinho is a cup player. I never saw who it was or whatever, but I think it sparked a little debate in the live chat, as it does, which I absolutely love. Tonic is saying Sturridge comes on when opponent is less fresh, not starting, but second half. Yeah, that's my look at it. I think if you've got an available Daniel Sturridge sitting on your bench, the team starts to wear down a little bit. Liverpool may be a goal up. The other team are coming at us a little bit. You've got Daniel Sturridge ready on the counter-attack. Yeah, their brains start to lapse a little bit towards the end of the game. Sturridge is definitely someone that can create a bit of space, get a shot off and score a goal to finish a game off, for sure. That's how I see him this season. It's just, I wanted to put the question out there because if you do need to rest Bobby this year, we are going to see this, not just this game. We will probably see this as the season goes on as well. So it's interesting to see where people's heads are at. And it is early already in the season that we might have to see this. And does Sturridge start? We will definitely see where Klopp's head is at. Because let's face it, if you've got Sturridge on the bench and Klopp trusts him, if Bobby does need a bit of rest, then Sturridge surely starts this game. But we shall see on that one. And Craig says Fabinho will be as important as Naby Keita for us, basically, is what he's saying. Agreed. I think so. He's a holding midfielder that we've needed for ages, Connor, isn't he? We've said about this before. And give him time to settle in and start to play for us. No doubt we will see a quality player. Like I said, whether we see him against Brighton, whether he gets some game time there, don't know. Will it be after the international break? We don't know. But as you rightly said, throughout the season, once the games go on, Christmas period, see the the strength that we've got and the options. You definitely want Fabinho being available then. So I think you were spot on when you said that as well. Tommy says Sturridge is a Weetabix, man. Crumbles if it's raining.
Jesus.
Yep, Weetabix. I love it. We've got, what is it, a packet of crisps? Someone says Matip is a packet of crisps. I've seen people say that. That's new to me. I love all the different lingos that I hear from obviously people all over different places in the world and stuff that say it. So it's fantastic to see this. Blue Tick's got a really good question here. So I will throw it at you first, Connor. And then for anyone that's in the live chat, and obviously the people that are watching this back, leave a comment down below. He says, who is your first goal scorer? What's your prediction for the first and second half, Daz? So there's a couple of questions there, but firstly, Connor, who is your first goal scorer?
For me, it's Naby Keita. I think we've seen it over the last couple of games. It's been coming, to be honest. But yeah, I think out of everyone, for me, my money's on Naby Keita because it would just be lovely to see a goal from him, to be honest.
Yeah, get his goal scoring career off at Liverpool. That I think if Naby gets a goal, I think we will start to see his confidence really start to come out, because we've seen great performances from him already, but we are seeing a shy Naby Keita. I've said it already. I've watched him play so many games where he's explosive and he really, really runs with the ball, and we're yet to see that. I don't know whether it's a tactical thing, where now that he's at the big club like Liverpool, whether he doesn't want to do that because it's more of a team game and he hasn't got to carry the rest of the players around him, or whether we will start to see more of him do what he used to do. as his confidence increases once he gets used to life at Liverpool, you know. So what's your views on that as well? If he scores a goal and gets his confidence up, do you think we see more of him running with the ball? But yeah, let me just quickly answer before you answer that. My first goal scorer, I think Mo Salah scores first. But yeah, Naby Keita, do you think he gets more confident and starts to travel with the ball like we're used to seeing more so in the near future?
Oh, for sure. I think that once he gets that goal, especially at Anfield, I think then we actually see Naby just becoming this extra player that was highly regarded in the Bundesliga. I think that we've seen a little bit of it against West Ham in the first half, where I think he just burst forward from the halfway line. But I think that for him to get that goal will be, I think, a weight off his shoulders, because I think all the pundits are kind of hinting at him to be Liverpool's kind of last jigsaw to the puzzle. And I think that if he can, because to be honest, we rely a lot on the front three, but if we can have that one player that can score at least 10 goals in all competitions in midfield, I think then we can finally push on just from the midfield.
Yeah, I think so. We need to add more goals from midfield. Quickly, before I continue, Tommy Walker with another, 2 donations of £2. Thank you so much, Tommy. We really appreciate your donations. Thank you so much to you, my friend. As I said before, never expect it, but really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us tonight, firstly, and thank you so much for that as well. Yeah, I have to agree with you with what you were saying there, Connor, for sure. So to continue with the question that was asked, obviously it was who was going to be the first goal scorers, and then the first half prediction and the second half. So to clear that up a little bit for anyone that's listening to this or watching it back, the first half, I reckon Liverpool 2-0. And to finish a game off, obviously my score prediction is 4-0. So I reckon Liverpool get another 2 goals in the second half. So 4-0 overall, 2-0 in the first, 2-0 in the second, basically. What's your overall looks at it, Connor? First half, second half?
My first half is 1-0 Liverpool going into half-time. And then I think after that, I think we break down their defence even more. And I think my opinion, I got 3-0. So I think we'll score another 2 goals.
Yeah, so, yeah, that'd be fantastic. Do you know, I want to say, even though I've predicted 4-0 or whatever, Connor, and to everyone that's watching this as well, I would even take a 1-0 against Brighton. And I know we should be expecting, goals, but this season it feels different. And I've just seen Tommy's donated another £2. Tommy, behave yourself. That's all I'm going to say. Thank you so much, though, my friend, but seriously, thank you. Yeah, I would take a 1-0 in every single game this year. And I mean, I know it might come down to goal difference. So, of course, we want to see more goals, but that will happen anyway. But it's about just seeing Liverpool, keep clean sheets, be solid defensively, and just learn to manage games. And this season, it feels completely different. To all of you that are listening to this or watching this, wherever you are, as a Liverpool supporter right now, every game this year, I feel nervous. Normally at the beginning of a season, I don't have these sort of nerves. I get it as the season goes on, towards the business end of the season. It's called the business end of the season at the end, when you're trying to fight for the top 4 spots. Last season it was like, we got to fight for top 4. When you're in the Champions League and you want to qualify or you want to try and win silverware, you get those nerves in the cup competitions. But the beginning of the Premier League season, surely you shouldn't have the nerves in every game at the beginning. I got the nerves. I get the butterflies. Am I the only one? Connor, are you nervous going into the games? And it's not that I don't think that Liverpool are not capable of beating these teams. It's because I'm looking forward to watching Liverpool perform. It's because I'm looking forward to, watching us again. But at the same time, I just feel like this... It's not this pressure that the pundits are talking about. I just feel like every game's so important because I want to see Liverpool perform so well. I want to see us really have a go this year, And it's not the pressure. It's just I want to see us have a go. Am I the only one, Connor?
Oh, no. Hell no to that. For me, I think it's not so much nerves. I think everyone's just excited. I think this is the first year in a long time that everyone's excited for every game. And I don't think anyone, apart from maybe where we nearly won the league in 13-14, I don't think there's been since then where we've been this excited, apart from last season through the Champions League. I think even then we were nervous to play the games. And this season we're excited for Brighton at home. It feels like it's a Liverpool versus Man City because everyone is so hyped for the game and we just want to see this team go out and win the games.
That is so true. It is. It's Brighton at Anfield, and it is true. It does feel like we are playing like City. It feels like we're playing our rival. Every week it feels like we're playing, like I say, like in the Champions League almost. It feels like it's a knockout game. It does, because exactly. I'm looking at it and I'm like, no, this is a really important 3 points for us again. You know, I want to see a clean sheet. I want to see a solid performance. I want to see another couple of goals at least from Liverpool. You know, Matthias is saying, no, you are not alone. You know, I'm so glad to see that I'm not the only Liverpool fan. And of course, you said the same as well, Connor. I'm not the only one that feels like this. It is different. You said it yourself when we was fighting for the league. Obviously, I remember Sturridge and Suarez ripping the league up. Brendan Rodgers talking the talk. You know, I still think he loves himself, no matter what people say. But yeah, that season, obviously, there was a good feel factor among the fans, and we felt like we had a good chance, didn't we, back then? But
yeah,
the beginning of this season, I said it before, as expectations for Liverpool fans, we always do expect Liverpool to be up there fighting and challenging and trying to win silverware, because we are Liverpool Football Club and we are fans of this great club. That's what we expect. But then you've added, you know, the players that we bought, and it's not just that we've gone out and signed, I don't know, a £70 million goalkeeper. Yeah, it's not just about that. It's not about the price. It's not about the fees. It's actually that this window, I felt like Liverpool went out and we signed the players that we've been crying out for. A holding midfielder. How many windows before that did we say, oh my God, why are we not signing a holding midfielder? Why are we not signing a defender? Why are we not signing a goalkeeper? You know, we went and signed Virgil, didn't we? We signed a top centre-back. Then we've now signed a quality holding midfielder. We're yet to see him in the Premier League, but we have signed him. We've signed a quality goalkeeper as well. You know, we've signed Shaqiri, which not a lot of people was raving about, but he's a playmaker. That is, again, another versatile player that adds to us with squad depth, which we really needed squad depth as well. We are still a couple of key players off, but we've also got Naby Keita in the door. We knew that we was getting him, but we had to wait for him. He was another key component to that Klopp spine. It's different. It's different, guys. It is a different feeling about us this year. Teams are looking at us, they're scared. Teams were always scared of trying to play against Liverpool, but I think you saw Palace try and do what teams always tried to do against us, to drop points, and it didn't work. If Brighton try and defend against us and it don't work, Connor, how many games do you reckon it would take teams to try and park the bus, defend, you know, solid against us, and for Liverpool to beat them? How many times do you reckon that will take this season until teams actually have to mix it up a little bit? What's your views on that?
I think it'll be right in the middle of the season, because I think Liverpool are just so unpredictable at the minute, because we have so many attacking threats from the front three to Naby. Even Milner is a threat. So it's not like if we're relying on one or two people, we have 4 or 5 that they have to look at. And to be honest with you, it's going to take a few teams to kind of shut us out this season. I think we'll only get about 2 games where we won't score a goal, in my opinion.
What 2 games do you reckon that would be?
So that'll probably be maybe an away game, like a Burnley or something like that. Yeah. It's going to be somewhere tough. It won't be anywhere like top of the league.
Yeah.
Teams.
Yeah, because they will come out and they will try and play against Liverpool. So that means that it's a more of an open game, which means that Liverpool tend to score. So yeah, I definitely get it as well. Issa says, goodbye, you are the best YouTuber ever. By LFC, love. Goodbye, Issa, my friend, and I muchly appreciate that. And obviously a big mention to Connor and to everyone that's in the live chat as well, because all of us together make this channel amazing, hopefully anyway. Oisk is in the building. He says, hello Daz, hello Oisk. Craig says Fekir and we would win the Prem. So obviously, yeah, people are still talking about Fekir coming in, and it's the quality. Even if Liverpool didn't sign Fekir in the next window, it's that sort of player. I just said, didn't I, about Liverpool still a couple of key signings off, you know, really having that massive hype about Liverpool. There's already that hype about us anyway, but Fekir was adding another captain to the squad. He was adding another creative player, you know, another set piece taker as well. Someone that can bang in a free kick. Shaqiri can do that. And Salah can take free kicks, Trent takes free kicks, but Fekir would have been the one that he would have probably been a starter if he was in, and he would have been the one stepping up for free kicks. So if you're looking at it that way, Liverpool get to January, we're top or thereabouts in the league, still challenging, still going for it. Do you see Liverpool really going for someone like Fekir, or someone of a similar sort of skill set, should I say? Obviously, at this point of the live stream, guys, obviously we've been speaking about Brighton, but we digress a little bit because we're talking about similar sort of things to do with Liverpool. So Connor, yeah, do we see Liverpool going in January and still sign someone with that sort of skill set that Fekir had?
I think personally, maybe we're not done with Fekir, which obviously will spark a few comments, but I think, like we saw Virgil van Dijk, we could have gone and looked for another centre-back, but Jurgen Klopp targets these players knowing that they can change the team. So in my opinion, if we do need him, I think maybe Klopp might go back after Fekir, but if it comes to January and we have no injury worries and the team is around first or second, I think maybe we might look at other people. But if it does mean that we have to pay a bit more than was originally for Fekir, I honestly think that if needed, I think we'll honestly go back for Fekir.
Yeah, so you think that we probably will end up going back for Fekir. He doesn't seem happy, does he, to be honest with you? No. So if Fekir was at Liverpool right now, or a player with that skill set, then against Brighton, you would have possibly seen him. This is what brings me back to the Brighton game and why I would have probably looked at Shaqiri coming in to start this one. Now, my starting 11 obviously doesn't have him in there, but I think that he could get at least half an hour in this game for sure. Josh says, really rate your channel, mate. Like how you're doing things different, not just trying to copy Redmen TV or the Anfield rap. Keep it up. Thank you so much to you, Josh. Hope you're good today. Stephen's in the building as well. He says, do you think Fabinho or Shaqiri will come in tomorrow, Daz? Yeah, I said I'm hoping that they get some game time in this one, to be honest, Stephen. I think that they should hopefully get at least 20 minutes each. Not too sure that they will. Obviously, my starting 11's up on the screen. It's a difficult one. It's a difficult one because Klopp, obviously, he's had that team that we've started with so far. They've done well in the first two games, but it depends on the man himself. He said that just because they've been winning doesn't mean that they stick with that. Depends on the fitness of certain players. Obviously, Henderson, we're saying that could be coming into this one because you've got Milner maybe needs resting. So then you could see Fabinho coming into the starting 11 in that sense. But you've got Jordan Henderson there. He's the captain. Klopp may want to be putting him into the first 11 for the first game. We've got the international break coming up. Connor, are you worried about the international break? We are Liverpool supporters, firstly. How concerned are you over the international break, mate? Because I'm going to lay my cards on the table. I'm bricking it. I hate the international break, mate.
Same. I hate the international break, especially if players are getting called up for England. It's like we all know from Daniel Sturridge, if a Liverpool player is playing for England, they always get injured. Joe Gomez, example, last season. I think that it's obviously a worrying time if someone does get injured, but I think we do have to look on the bright side, because if someone does get injured, then we have reliable people that can come in, and no matter who we play, we're going to be not so much happy, but we're going to be satisfied that they're playing for the club. But for me, it's worrying that we got Alisson and Bobby going, well, not so much them two, but like nearly half our squad going to the other side of the world, which for me is a little bit worrying.
Yeah. It's the travel as well, isn't it? I mean, you know, the chat here. Look, Gary's saying I dread the international break. George is international break, and then basically, I won't repeat the word, but you know what he's saying there, guys. I don't even have to say it. So yeah, no one likes the international break. We are Liverpool supporters, as I say. DZB is saying Shaqiri's not happy at Lyon. The reports said today he's not at all. I see him leaving in January. Is that deal still on the table? I don't know whether it is Liverpool side, but can Shaqiri push it in January? We shall see. I'm sure that this channel will end up talking about Shaqiri as that transfer window gets closer. Again, I'm pretty sure of that. Yeah, the international break. Obviously, put it this way, Liverpool, let's just say, for instance, my score prediction of 4-0 ends up being the case. Liverpool have kept 3 clean sheets. We've got maximum points on the table. You know, everything's looking up. International break comes. It's one of those things that can really, it can mess you up. It can mess the flow of things up. Yeah. It's just so annoying because the international break, it means nothing at this stage. It means absolutely nothing. It's pointless. It really is. They should banish it, in my opinion. They're never going to do it though. It's always going to be part of it. And obviously, what you got to look at is, I guess, all the teams are in the same boat. But as Liverpool get better, and we start to bring in better players, then more and more of your players are going to be going off for these international breaks, and they're going to be playing. So I guess we've got to get more and more used to it. We've always had players that do go off for international break, but yeah, I don't like it, guys, as I said, and it is my concern that Liverpool have started strong. If we continue against Brighton strong, hopefully it doesn't mess us up, but it could well be the case. So we've got a couple of other things that obviously for those that do follow my channel, there were some updates today with some other stuff. Now, a few people messaged me saying about, you know, FSG and the selling and situations like that. Now, 2 billion. Connor, I wanted to get your views on this while you are on the live stream tonight. It's a match build-up show. Liverpool are doing well because of how we are playing anyway, and the progression on the pitch. Off the pitch, FSG, they don't want to sell Liverpool. What's your views on this, my friend?
I think FSG at the minute are doing a good job. I don't think anyone can deny that. And for some people, I have read that they want FSG out. But if FSG, for example, went out in the summer, would we have had the summer transfer window that we had? I don't think we would have done, because FSG, I think for me, have levelled Liverpool so much that they are willing to spend nearly 200 million on the team. They've proven that. So for people to turn around and go, oh, we won them out because they've done this in the past, is ridiculous, in my opinion. And I think that if they are happy, if Klopp is happy, if the scouting department's happy that they're bringing in all these players that are making the team better and making Liverpool money and profit, then I think that's good for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, one of the reasons why I wanted to ask this, not just because it's obviously a trending topic at the moment, it's what everyone's talking about on social media, but because the lineup, for instance, Alisson, as you rightly said, you know, the players that we have brought in, we are seeing that Liverpool are signing top players. We are seeing that Salah, Bobby, for instance, are getting big contracts at Liverpool. Mane, even though Klopp, when asked about Mane's contract, is there any update, he laughed and said, yeah, there's an update, he's still got a long contract. You know, I thought that's Klopp, isn't it? You know, that's Klopp all over. But FSG so far seem to have Liverpool moving in the right direction, and they are looking for investors. They are looking, they would be interested in selling a stake of Liverpool Football Club, but not interested in selling Liverpool Football Club. you know, this was earlier on in the year, I believe, that the 2 billion fee or price, you know, that they was offered, and they snubbed it. So 2 billion is a lot of money. And I mean, to any of us that are sitting here, most of us would never see 2 billion in our life at all. So
running away with that.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a ridiculous amount of money. And if FSG aren't going to budge over 2 billion, then I don't think FSG are going to budge for a long time. So yeah, I think the one thing, you know, looking at the squad that we've got at the moment and the direction that we're going in, it's good to see that there is a progression there. And that was my overall thing, and that's why I wanted to get your views on this, because we are talking about the players that we've got now, and looking at the lineup for tomorrow, we have got a strong squad now. So yeah, I like that, and I think that it's good to see that we are actually moving in the right direction, definitely. Daz, what channel is our game on tomorrow? It's BT. I believe it's on BT, isn't it, Connor, tomorrow? It better be anyway, because that's where I'll be watching it. Liam says, I am worried about the international break because every time we come back in pass, we end up dropping points. There are 6 out of our best players going the other side of the world. Salah, Bobe, Mane, Kety, Alisson and Fab. Liam, you're not the only one that's concerned, my friend. I said it myself. I'm very concerned. Stephen says, the way I see it over the ownership is that everything is running smoothly now. We are competing for the best players and there is a buzz around the place. Why change it? It's very true, Stephen. That's the way I look at it. I think the way I looked at it was, I had a concern over FSG a while ago, and I think when I did have my concern was because FSG probably didn't have the right people in the right places, but I think they have. All of a sudden now they've started to get the right people in the right places. We're seeing that we are starting to sign our targets when we are going after them. We've got the right manager in, you know, we are landing players, which that was a concern before because we wasn't signing players that we were going for. We was haggling over fees, and that's a concern that I've seen kind of be eradicated now. So, you know, like I say, it does look good. It does look promising. And I think they're about. And if we do get the right investment into the club, then that will help us financially compete with the likes of City and the other top clubs around the world as well. So it's interesting. I'm sure we will see more in the future, whether Liverpool do get an investment as well into it. We will see about that one. And I'm sure we will have a lot of time to talk about it. But I just wanted to get Connor's views just quickly, and some of you guys that was in live chat, because it kind of is related, because we're talking about a lineup and the good players like Alisson and Kety and, you know, Fabinho that have been added, and then you've got the players that have just been given big contracts as well. It's, you know, it's just interesting to hear what you guys have got to say on them snubbing 2 billion. It's a lot of money, you know. I'm happy with 20 quid, to be honest. It really, if someone offers me 20 quid here and there for something, I'm like, oh, yes, please, you know. That's something to treat the missus with, in it, from time to time. Josh says, I knew they would eventually win over the UK fan base. Josh, that's what it comes down to. It's just them, people giving them a bit of time, I think. And I think they did win over a lot of people. Stephen says, agreed 100%, Daz. Yeah, Pritesh says, the concern isn't financial. Now, we have a great team. Best to focus on being competitive on the pitch. Yeah, I think if Liverpool started to win silverware, I think a lot of people would be like, ace, you know, FSG come in, they sorted us out. And then if we start winning silverware as well on the pitch, then people wouldn't even have an argument in that sense, would they? So, yeah, I think we just give it time, and I think the people that didn't see the progression might start to see it. But yeah, you know, Paul here is saying, I've always been anti-FSG, but for now, I'm happy to have them running the club. So Paul, I've seen him, Connor, Paul so many times has said about not wanting FSG at the club, but even he now is saying, for now, I'm happy to have them running the club, because if we bring in new owners, he says, it would upset the balance of the club. And I think that is a valued point right now. Liverpool started this season well. You know, the deal was apparently at the beginning of the season anyway, so it wasn't even now. But say, for instance, someone come in now, yeah, the cousin of Man City owners or whoever it is, come back in with a 2.5 billion deal. Yeah, Liverpool beat Brighton tomorrow. Everything's looking up. You know, everything is running smoothly. 2.5 is on the table. FSG take it. It could really upset things, couldn't it, Connor? You know, a change, definitely. It's a massive change, isn't it? Do you reckon it would definitely upset things, wouldn't it?
Oh, for sure. I think that if they did sell the club now, I think it would upset everything from literally everywhere, because the club at the minute is doing so well on everywhere, from the team to financially, and I think it did take away a big time for FSG to please, especially the UK side of things, because obviously they do own the Red Sox, I do believe, in America, and they were investing more in that than they was Liverpool. But I think over the last 2 seasons, they've proven to us anyway that they're more than willing to commit to this football club. And for them to say that and do it, then I think everyone has to be happy, at least for that.
Yeah, no, I agree, mate. I definitely agree. Robert Ryan's in the live chat and he says, Daz, any news on Buvac coming back? Robert, the Buvac situation, as I last saw anything, and it was the Liverpool Echo, I believe, was stating that they are led to believe that Buvac is not returning back to Liverpool, and that Pep Lijnders is stepping up, basically. Klopp's not going to bring anyone else into his coaching team, into his setup that he's got there now, but Pep Lijnders will be the one that steps up to help Klopp, and the other coaches will help there, but Buvac doesn't look likely to return. I haven't seen a change. I think that Buvac is still officially employed by Liverpool Football Club, and to be honest, I would have thought that they would have officially announced that Buvac wasn't returning before the beginning of the Premier League season, so it's still a very difficult one in my head, because I feel like they've kind of left it open for a return. No matter what Echo have said, Echo believe that he's not returning, that the club would have announced something over the next couple of weeks, is what they said, and this was a couple of weeks ago. But, if Buvac definitely wasn't returning for whatever reason, I mean, surely Liverpool Football Club would have officially announced that before the Premier League started, because you wouldn't want any unsettled there. We were just talking about the unsettle if new owners come in. You're talking about Klopp's right-hand man in Buvac, the brain, someone that's worked with him for years. If you knew that he wasn't definitely coming back, then you would announce that he's not coming back. But yeah, the Echo was saying that he's not coming back, and it doesn't look likely that he will return. But I would always say that all the time that Klopp remains at Liverpool, there's always a chance that Buvac returns because of the history between the two. But as it stands at the moment, I believe that we're looking at Pep Lijnders stepping up, and I think we're going to see a spell without Buvac on the sidelines for definite at this time, guys. So yeah, whatever did happen, I just hope that if it's personal reason, I just hope that Buvac is okay. Whether it was an argument, whether it was a fallout, we don't know. There were so many rumours to do with it. Connor, one of the questions that I put out on one of the live streams is, are people worried about Buvac not being by Klopp's side this season? I'm not that worried about it. I think Klopp couldn't have rode on Buvac all this time. I think Klopp is a fantastic manager. I think Lijnders is a fantastic coach, and the other coaches as well. So a question for you, mate, obviously being on a live stream, are you concerned if Buvac, has left Liverpool? Do you think Klopp can do a job this year?
I think simple answer is no, because I think that with the team that he has behind him already, Jurgen Klopp, I think that he is more than capable of taking this team to the next level by himself. I think, obviously, Buvac was the brain with Jurgen Klopp, but I think that himself will he'll be fine no matter what, because he'll have the team behind him, like I said. But I think that for people worrying about this season, I think there's nothing to worry about, in my awful opinion. Well, not awful so much, but like you said, there won't be anyone else coming into the dressing room now. And I think if Liverpool, you would have thought Liverpool would have announced if he was definitely going. But like you said, they've left the door open. And I think maybe he could come back next season. This is why they haven't announced anything yet. But if they are going to announce anything, you would think they would do it in such an international break where there's no Liverpool football. But I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I think Buvac has gone. I find it really weird that they didn't clarify it before the Premier League season started, because surely they know, and maybe it's Klopp, that has kind of said, hold on, just in case. I really don't know. The truth is, we don't know what the overall situation is, and we probably will never know the full situation there. Alejandro says, I think Buvac has left the building. The brain has left the building, basically. Thank you so much, my friend. Paul Pugh says, I think selling a club at the start of a season is unwise, maybe at the end of the season, so I don't think it's going to happen until the whole fan base turn on them. Yeah, look, I think FSG probably don't have any plans whatsoever to sell Liverpool. I think 2 billion, considering how much they bought Liverpool for, would have clearly, if they wanted to make a quick buck on us, would have been the selling price. So yeah, I think they stay, to be honest. They can see as well that they're clever. They can see that the longer that they stay with Liverpool, all the time that we're progressing, the value's going up. And with the value and the money that is in football in today's market, yeah, they got in at the right time, didn't they? Especially with a club like Liverpool. We're a powerhouse. It's only going to get more money in football, and Liverpool are only going to be worth more and more as well. So they're not stupid at all. Paul is also saying that Buvac is gone for good. Facility Time says, we're not signing the big name players though, because we can't compete financially with the petroleum clubs. Get the Saudis in where money is no object. Now, Facility Time, I always respect everyone's opinions on this, but you say that we're not signing any big name players. I mean, I would have to say that Alisson is a pretty big name player. Brazil's number one, obviously starting over Edison there. A lot of money. Virgil van Dijk, best centre-back in the league. Massive fee there. I say that we are out there. We are fishing in the big players market. I get what you mean in the sense, if you're pointing to the facts of maybe people might say you want an Mbappe, you want a Neymar. So I do get it if that's the sort of player that you're pointing at. But at the same time, I would say that Liverpool are starting to fish around the right sort of market of player. And I would say that we're starting to spend the fees that, a team of Liverpool's quality that are trying to win the Premier League should be spending. But yeah, I get it if you are pointing to those sort of players like a Neymar and Mbappe, but at the same time, those sort of players, they're break your bank balance sort of players, 200, 300 million, ridiculous sort of money. And will Liverpool ever end up paying that sort of fee? I'm not too sure. Even if you had, as you put it, a petroleum owner, if they spend that sort of money, you're going to sign one player. Under Jurgen Klopp, we are building a squad. We're building a team. You sign Neymar at your club, he gets injured for 6 months. Is he going to help you win the Premier League? Probably not. Under Jurgen Klopp, you sign, a squad of players for 200 to 300 million within the next year or two. If you give Klopp that sort of money, he will build you a team, and that will definitely help you try and win the Premier League. That's my overall view on it. But as always, I respect everyone's views, and I think I get where you was going with like the big players, as in Neymar and Mbappe and stuff. But we're definitely fishing in the right market. Virgil and Alisson, they're big names, and big fees as well. Remember, record fees. Charlie says Mane hat-trick. So you're going for a Mane hat-trick against Brighton. Do you reckon Mane gets a goal in this game, Connor? And for those of you that are listening to this back, leave a comment down below. Does Mane continue his fine form this season? Obviously, he started really, really well. Does Mane continue in this one for you?
Yeah, I think that he does, to be honest with you. Obviously, last season he did exactly the same, where last season he was player of the month for the beginning part, which I think this season he's going to be again if he scores again tomorrow. But yeah, for me it's going to be Keita, Mane and Salah with the goals.
Yeah, I think so. I think Mane's got to, he started lively. I think he's going to have a fantastic season. I see Mane getting a goal tomorrow for sure. Gurmit says 4-0 is too harsh. Brighton are a good side. I get what you mean. I think Brighton are a good team, but at the same time, it's at Anfield. We're Liverpool Football Club. If it's harsh, so be it. Liverpool need to be harsh in the Premier League this season. We're going for the Premier League. You know, I respect that they did well against Manchester United, but how many goals did we put against them last year? If we get at them early and we score an early goal, get 2 goals in the first half, I think if we score 2 in the first half, we can score 2 in the second half. Like I say, it's at Anfield. Why can't we score 4, Gurmit? But yeah, I get what you're saying. Like I say, I don't say it with any disrespect to them, but I think their manager's job is to try and keep them in the league. Liverpool's job this season is to try and compete with City and the other top teams to try and win the Premier League. So 4-0, why not? You know, we've started strong, and I say that we haven't even got out of first gear, so why can't we go and do a 4-0 tomorrow? The Kilted's in the building. He says, hey, good evening to you, Kilted. I hope you're fantastic today. Junior says, back. Sorry, was just on the phone to Clavan just there. So Junior's obviously talking to Clavan. I hope that Clavan's doing all right. FSG would sell for 3 billion. The Mancs are worth 3.1 billion. So what do you reckon, Connor? This is a really good question for anyone that's listening to this right now. I want you to have a thought to yourself, you know, whether you're at work listening to this back on the podcast or in your van or whatever. Think to yourself right now, if you're at FSG, you know what other clubs are worth out there. You know that you're sitting on a nest egg because of the way the transfer markets are and football. You know how much you spent when you bought Liverpool as FSG. How much is your selling value? What would you sell Liverpool at if you was FSG, Connor?
For me, I think I'd wait until the end of the season, because if we do win a Premier League or Champions League, I think the club obviously increases value. So, but for me, I think maybe 4 billion or 5 billion. I'd obviously accept 2, because 2 billion's a big amount of money. But yeah, for me, if we do win the Premier League or Champions League, I think maybe 4 or 5 billion would be reasonable for FSG then to sell. But for me at the minute, I'd say don't sell no matter what.
Yeah, I think that's FSG starts anyway, like we said. But 4 or 5 billion, oh my God, what could you do with 4 or 5 billion? On a serious note, anyone in the live chat, what could you do with 4 or 5 billion? That's ridiculous money. If you're talking about 1 million as life-changing money, 2 billion is ridiculous. 4 or 5 billion. If someone offered 4 billion to FSG to sign Liverpool Football Club, you know, to take over Liverpool Football Club, that's ridiculous. Surely they would sell them, but who knows? What we got here? Adam says, personally, I like the idea of finding a Mbappe or crafting a Mbappe from youth instead of signing these superstars at top. Well, interestingly, you say that, Adam. I look at Ryan Brewster at Liverpool, and I think you look at him and I think he's very talented. I don't like to compare players to other players. I hate it. You know, when we were signing Naby Keita and people were going, oh, he's like Kante, and they're saying he's just like him. And I think I see that they were saying that he's a similar sort of player, but he's not really, is he? I do get why people compare, but when I look at Mbappe, I think he's a very young, talented player. I look at Brewster and I think, oh my God, if he wasn't injured right now and he was getting game time and coming on and scoring goals, people would be like, oh what a player for the future. And yeah, so I hope that Brewster, when he gets back fit and gets some game time for Liverpool's first team, I look at him. Brewster's a very talented player, and you'd have to say, if we're talking about resting Bobby in this game, and we were saying about could Daniel Sturridge start this one, if Brewster was fit right now, is this a sort of game that you would say maybe start a Brewster in if he was fully fit?
For me, no. Because I think that...
what, Bobby? Or...
oh, no. For me, personally, no. That did sound like Firmino then. Oh, yeah, we definitely start Bobby. Don't worry about that. I think that, no, I don't think he starts. Because you have to think, does he get over... Solanke? At the minute we have Origi there. Does he get over him, for example? Does he even get over Daniel Sturridge? I think maybe once he has, because obviously this is his first professional year, I think that if he gets maybe 1 or 2 under his belt, and then we can see how progressive he does get, I think maybe yes, he could easily be in there with Bobby and Mo and that. But I think at the minute, no, he's not in there for me.
Yeah, so obviously see what he's capable of for a year when he gets back, and then maybe. So yeah, interesting, and that goes to anyone that's obviously watching this or listening to this. Let me know what your views are on that. I've got people answering about how much they would sell it. Gary says 3.5 billion. Dr. Gee has got question marks out. I think. Doctor, I'm not too sure what the question marks are, mate, so let me know. Paul says 4 to 5 billion. I'd help the homeless and needy. Paul, that's a fantastic thing to do. 4 to 5 billion, you could definitely help a lot of homeless and needy people. I mean, 4 to 5 billion, you could do a lot with. Let's face it, couldn't you? It's a ridiculous amount of money to be putting on a football club, but it's as sad as what it is. I mean, you look at how much these football players go for, and you think, wow, how much you could help people in life, and how many people you could change their lives with it, and it's how much people pay for a human to kick a football about a pitch. Ridiculous. You know, I would go and kick a ball around for Liverpool Football Club for nothing. I mean, I'm not that good. I'm good at football, but I'm not a professional. And I definitely ain't fit enough to play football anymore. But yeah, I would do it for nothing, just because I would love to play for Liverpool. I love football, and they get paid ridiculous money to do it, don't they? So yeah, money in sport is ridiculous, but that's the way it is. But yeah, I think that's fantastic what Paul said there about helping the homeless. Nick Muller says 4 billion. I would do the 92 clubs in England. So we've got a raver here, obviously, in Nick. You know, he would go around and do all the 92 clubs in England. And then I guess, obviously, because you would have money left over there, Nick, I guess you would go on to do festivals, maybe, if you're into that sort of stuff as well. Blue Tick says, even if you have those amount of money, you still can't buy the world. And that is a fact. It is a fact, Blue Tick. You're very right there, mate. Money can't buy you everything. Money can't buy you happiness. That's a saying enough. Bill says there is nothing in Brighton except a rubbish beach, basically.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, Bill just comes straight in. Basically, I could just picture him being on a mic and then just mic dropping and walking back off the stage after saying that. Bill says at 4.5 billion, I'd be keeping for myself. Nick Muller says 4 billion, you could buy a league, 2 clubs, and build up a team, promote it in 4 seasons. You definitely could. You definitely could for sure. If anyone wants to do any call-ins, by the way, because we're over the hour mark, then let me know in the live chat now if you want to do a call-in. Obviously, I'll put the Skype up on the thing. Let me just get this up on the screen. Oh, no, I don't have it on here, but obviously it's on the bench LFC in small. Let me know before you're going to be doing it, obviously in the live chat, and then I will be able to end the call with Connor so that I can take the live call-ins as well. Robert says, thank you, Daz. Sound buzz. No problem, Robert, mate, no problem. Krishna says the only guys who could buy LFC is Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, and Warren Buffett. That's interesting. Is there anyone else that you would add to that list, interestingly, Connor? Is there anyone you can think of? I don't know many rich people, to be honest. I'm pretty common.
Same year, I don't really know. I think that's a question for the chat. Do they know anyone else?
There you go. So a question for you people that are live, and for anyone that's watching this back, who else do you reckon could afford Liverpool Football Club right now? I'm just going to throw it out there. FSG. They can afford Liverpool Football Club because they own us, all right? And they ain't selling us. Mitchell says they wouldn't sell for 10 billion. I think so as well. I think that would be the thing. I don't think FSG are going to own us at all. Paul Bew says the owner of Facebook. Interesting. He definitely could. He definitely could. Does he still even own Facebook, or did he sell it? I'm not too sure. Junior says FSG in. Blue Tick says, can we focus both on Prem and Champions League? Some are saying City will be more into Champions League, not Prem. I don't agree with this. What's your say on it? I think that's a fantastic question there, Blue Tick. And Connor, actually, that would be brilliant as well. I think it'd be brilliant to get your view, sorry. I think that City will probably try and compete in the Champions League. I think they will want to go for it. They had a fantastic run out in the Premier League, obviously winning it last year. I think their manager will want to go for the Champions League. If they come up against tough opponents in the Champions League, they will field strong. They will field a strong team and maybe a weaker team in the Premier League. I think so around it. It really depends on how they've been performing in the Premier League leading up to those tough fixtures. If they're running away with the Premier League again, I don't think it makes too much of a difference. That is where it will come down to Liverpool putting the pressure and other teams putting the pressure on City this year. It's not just down to, how good City are. Liverpool need to concentrate on our football this year. We need to concentrate on getting the 3 points every week. Make sure that we're doing what we've got to do. If we're winning every week, City will have to have one eye on what we're doing. They will be in the same boat as us. They need to concentrate on what they've got to do. But yeah, if they want to try and win the Champions League, then that will add more pressure to them. Liverpool are going to want to win silverware this year. So hopefully we're still in the Champions League as well. So, it comes down to, if you're a top club, and you would say that Liverpool and Man City both consider themselves capable of winning the Champions League, both teams are going to be in a similar sort of boat this year. We went to a Champions League final last year, we kicked City out. They're not going to like that. If we face them again this year, they're going to want to try and return the favour. But, I don't know. It really does depend on what the situation is in the league leading up to the tougher fixtures. What do you think on it, Connor? Do you think City will go more for the Champions League this year, or do you think that they will do the same again? Premier League, if they get kicked out of the Champions League, they won't care too much. I don't think that would be the situation.
I think last season they had the Premier League already wrapped up, so they were already focusing on the Champions League more towards the business point of it. But I think, to be honest with you, they have the squad to do both. But like I said, I think last season they focused. I personally think they focused more on the Champions League after they knew they could win the league by so many points. But we all know who stopped them from actually winning the Champions League. And I think this season, like you said, I think it all depends what they're doing in the league. It's like if we're both 1 and 2 and it's like we're away from everyone else, I think the two of us will be looking mostly to go into the Champions League, into the knockout phases and win. It would be pretty remarkable if we could face City again like we did last season. I wouldn't like to face them again. I don't know why. But I think that Liverpool, I think out of all the English teams in the Champions League, I think again it's going to be City and Liverpool to be the most furthest in the competition.
Yeah, I think so. I think it definitely is going to come down to, who's been performing best in the Premier League, who can kind of rest certain players when it gets down to the business end of the Champions League as well. And squad rotation. I mean, both, you look at City and they've got amazing squad depth. Liverpool got better squad depth this year, but it depends on your fixtures as well around it. So there's a lot of stuff that comes into it, of course. We've got here Mitchell saying Vince McMahon. Obviously, Vince McMahon, he's the wrestling bloke, and I remember from being obviously young, Vince McMahon takeover is what Mitchell said. So... oh, absolutely love that. Paul is actually saying, Daz, I could afford Liverpool FC. I'm really a rich git, lol. Well, there you go. Paul is going to test FSG's resolve. Paul, if you get anywhere with that one, please let us know. I think the outcome is going to be the same. I think FSG is going to remain Liverpool's owners. I really do. Josh says City is scared of us. Pep admits it on the Amazon special. Interesting. I'm glad you brought that up, Josh, because obviously there is that special where Pep is talking and he's scared of Liverpool, especially the attack. He talks about the attack. And Connor, what's your views on that? Do you think Pep is now, when he comes to face Liverpool this year, do you think he's got more concerns when it comes to facing Liverpool? Not just talking about, the attack. Do you think he's going to have a bigger headache when it comes to Liverpool? Surely he's got to, because we are stronger all around. I mean, we've got Brighton tomorrow and we're talking about Brighton probably... having a headache of who will be the midfield that he comes up against. We know the back line that we're probably going to have. We probably know the front three, but teams are going to have this headache. But Pep obviously has this strong, amazing squad. But surely these teams are going to be scared of Liverpool, and Pep's no different.
Oh, for sure. I think that actually watching the documentary was actually quite... I'd say... a view of what he thinks of Liverpool, and I think that in the documentary, I think Man City were playing away from Everton, I think it was, and he wasn't really bothered about Everton, but he was just constantly scared about Liverpool because he didn't know how to handle us. He didn't know how to handle Bobby, didn't know outhandle Mo. And I think that also in one of the episodes, I think where they play Manchester United, and it was the second leg coming up of our game, he was more focused about our game than he was Manchester United, which shows he's terrified of us, and he's terrified of what this attack can actually do. So for me, I think he understands how good we actually are, and he saw it in the Champions League.
Yeah, I haven't watched this. I see the clips of him talking about Liverpool's attack and stuff like that, but I haven't watched it. So I'm so glad that you have, and you could give a bit more in depth there. I've got Krishna here saying I don't think that Pep is scared of LFC. He probably relishes a challenge. Only point is that his plan plays into our strengths. So it's interesting there. We've got different people. We've got people that are saying that Pep's not scared of Liverpool, but he loves the challenge. He loves that battle with Jurgen Klopp. He loves, he probably does look at Liverpool as their competitors, especially this season. We're the ones that he has to beat. We kicked them out of the Champions League last year. Pep won't want to come up against Liverpool in the Champions League, but at the same time, if he does, sure, he will relish it at the same time, but there's got to be a fear there. There has to be, because we talk about Liverpool's bogey teams, and people say about your Palaces, even though they're not really a bogey team, but talk about teams that park the bus against us and how frustrating that is. If you're Pep right now and you're City and you've got a game against Liverpool, you would look at Liverpool, even though we're just a quality team, and I wouldn't say that we're a bogey team for them, but we just find a way of beating City, and it's because we put them under pressure. It's because most teams don't have the fight and they don't have the drive that Liverpool have. We're one of the only teams out there that will go at City and give them a slapping. No, there's not many teams that can do that. So there's got to be some form of fear there, not just in Pep, but in the players, because they know they've got a bloody game on their hands when it comes to playing Liverpool.
Exactly, and I think that an interesting stat is I don't think Manchester City has beaten Liverpool at Anfield in 12 years, which shows sort of like in a big game, Manchester City, like obviously we saw Manchester City couldn't handle the press that we were doing, and you could kind of see that in the game that they had against Manchester United in the second half. And I think that all the praise that Manchester City has, they do have weaknesses, and I think we are the only team that can exploit that as such. And I think that this season will be, I think we will obviously be the biggest test to City, but I also got a feeling that Chelsea, for some reason, will be, obviously, because they obviously play a pressing system as well. And I think this season, I don't see City doing the same as they did last season, but obviously they are going to be title contenders because the team is so good.
Yeah. So, for instance, we play Brighton tomorrow. Yeah. If City was to play Brighton, City, when they come up against teams like Brighton, they're not really scared of a team that sits back, defends deep, because City will just overload them. They will just throw everything at them, and they seem to find ways of destroying these teams from like last season, like what we saw. But this is what Liverpool got to do. This is why I'm going for like a 4-0, because I look at Brighton, I respect them as a team, but I think Liverpool now this season, we should be solid defensively. We should find a way of stopping these teams from countering us, and we should be better at defending set pieces. So this is why I'm looking at a 4-0 against Brighton, because Liverpool need to look at how City aren't worried about teams that want to defend against them. Teams like Brighton will try and deny Liverpool the space, stop us being able to utilise the spacing behind their defence with the pace of Salah and Mane, for instance. That's what these teams have been trying to do over previous seasons. Liverpool need to find a way of breaking that down, like City do. So as much as we look at Pep and we look at City and we go, like they need to be scared of us, we also need to look at how good City was last year and how they do beat these teams that are scared of them, that might set up defensively. Liverpool also need to we need to do similar to what they're doing in these games and just go, look, we're too good for you. And them teams that are scared of them, they need to also be scared of Liverpool, and we need to figure out beating these teams. And we did it against Palace. Yes, it was scrappy. We all agreed that. Yes, we ain't out our best yet, but if we get a victory against Brighton and they set up like that, then teams will start to realise that they can't play that way against Liverpool, the same as City as well. That's what we were saying earlier. So hopefully we do a job again against Brighton tomorrow, and it'll be lovely. So thank you to everyone that has joined the live chat tonight, and to those of you that have listened to it on the podcast. Obviously that is on Castbox, so I will be putting the links out on the Facebook group and on Twitter once that's processed. That takes a little while before that comes out, but yeah, please leave your comments if you're watching it back down below. Connor, thank you so much for coming on. Is there anything that you would like to say to round this show off, my friend?
Well, I think that's topped it off, but I would like to say thank you for having me on. I'd like to say thank you to everyone for listening to my voice, which is pretty weird probably. And I think that we should be excited for tomorrow's game. I don't think we need to be nervous. I just think we need to be confident, hit the front running, and I think we just need to bang goals in and we'll all be happy at the end.
Yeah, I think so. I think what you just said there, Connor, I think is absolutely perfect. I think we should be excited. You know, we've talked very much about the tactics. We talked about the starting 11. We talked about score predictions. But I think that was absolutely amazing in the fact that you said we should be excited. You know, we're talking about the expectations this season. But come on, guys. We're Liverpool Football Club. We're talking about it feeling different and pressure and all this year. But let's not forget to be excited as well. We said it earlier. It's exciting to be Liverpool Football Club this year. It's exciting to be the fans of Liverpool. We've got great players. We're looking to win silverware this year. So yeah, spot on there, Connor. It's exciting. Obviously, we're doing a watch along tomorrow as well, guys. Kickoff is at 5:30, so the watch along should start around the 5 o'clock mark. Please join me for that one, and hopefully I'll get to see a lot of you guys in the live chat. Really appreciate it when you guys join in for that one. Thank you so much for everyone that did join in live on this one. Obviously, it means a lot. And to those guys that did donate as well, massive shout out to you guys yet again. Fantastic. Never expect the donations, but always appreciate it. Yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the live stream. Hopefully you enjoyed the podcast if you listen to it that way. Enjoy the rest of your days. I've been on the bench LFC. Connor's been an absolute legend. You've all been legends. I will see you in the next one. Take care, everyone.